Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're taking a look, of course, here at Terra Classic, seeing what's going on, helping understand best practice and big picture on the eve of the Terra Classic burn. All right, so we're not going to worry about all the fundamentals. This is mostly a technical analysis, but I can tell you that based on the fundamentals, I have heard that Crypto.com is supposed to burn billions of Luna Classic, and of course, I think Binance might also be somewhere along those lines as well. So, the speculation is the price is going to shoot up as a result. Keep this in mind. Previous burns with other coins have not always done so well. So just kind of keep a logical head on your shoulders and understand that $1 is not practical. I hate to talk you off the ledge there, but it's just unrealistic at this point to be able to expect that to happen. So if you're just adding tons of money to your bag right now, just be cautious and careful. I would, wait to see what happens, of course. I mean, the likelihood of the price action increasing from here, just based from a technical standpoint, seems higher. But on the same accord, this is an investment, right? You want to invest wisely, not callously. All right. So just kind of throwing it out there. I like to be the voice of reason, just so you understand kind of where things are at. All right. So again, if you want to become a better trader, just know I love teaching people to trade, right? This is my passion. This is my day job. I do this every single day for a living. And I can assure you that, I've had a lot of graduates and people have done very, very well for themselves. So if you want to become a better trader, CryptoCash.tech is a website, link in the description below. I offer a trading college, essentially, as well as signals for every single trade that I take, and obviously a community aspect as well. We all learn and grow together through Discord. Awesome experience there. Furthermore, also, very last thing, please register with BitGet. I recommend you do so because they offer a tremendous amount of bonus USDT when you transfer funds over and use their exchange. Keep in mind you have to use the exchange to benefit, but the bottom line is that you get a tremendous amount. I got almost the max amount myself by transferring over a majority of my funds. Okay, so keep in mind, the more you transfer, the better you're going to be as far as that's concerned. But the most important thing, and the reason why I like BitGet, is because they basically have an option where you don't need a VPN in the United States. It's really awesome. In other words, you can use leverage in the United States without a VPN. It's very uncommon and uncharacteristic in the exchanges that we see right now in the US with all the regulations. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It's completely legitimate. Just highly recommend using it. They're a fantastic service, and that's the main reason why I partnered with them, is because of that reason alone. So here's where we're at on the big picture with Luna Classic. So jump right in. So obviously we saw the parabolic increase, followed by a pretty significant decrease. It's, again, very standard stuff, just kind of throwing it out there. That's absolutely a normal thing. Okay, you can't expect something to go up forever. It's never going to happen. If it goes up again soon, just like it did previously, it'll come back down eventually. Profits will always be taken in cryptocurrency and any trading areas. It doesn't matter what it is. What goes up must come down. All right, so just keep that in mind. If we do have somewhat of a significant increase here soon, you got to expect the likelihood of a retracement following that is also equally as viable. Okay, so just kind of try to be the voice of reason, let you know that. Taking a look, of course, at the RSI, we can see we're trending still above 50 in the RSI. This is positive, but I don't love where we're at here because the price is just barely increasing and the RSI is going sideways. That never results positively, just in a traditional sense, but the thing that is positive here, of course, is the fact that we're above the 50-day SIP moving average. So heaven forbid the price were to come down, we should expect somewhere in the range of 20,000 to hold. All right. Again, hypothetically, that's the case. Once more, though, when we're looking at the volume profile, we can see a tremendous amount of volume just below the current price point, right there at that key level support, previous resistance, at about 28,000. Okay, so just round number 28,000 is essentially a point of contention, an area in which we have to hold in order for this to continue higher. All right, so again, staying above that volume profile is extremely important because that is working as a support level, but it's also working as a magnet, almost gravitizing the price action to that level. Again, sometimes you need a fundamental catalyst to get it out of that little kind of niche, you could say. And for right now, we can expect the price action, I would say just in a general sense, to increase. I wouldn't say $1. I think that's very unrealistic, but it is absolutely possible the price will increase from here based on this sentiment and where we're at. And let me explain what I mean by that too on the smaller time frames, because there are some decent things that we can see and identify on the smaller and midterm time frames. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4 hour just so you can kind of see what I'm referring to. We're above the 200-day SIP moving average. That's notoriously a strong support level. That's trending right around 25,000. So heaven forbid the price comes down, we could see a bounce off 25. Okay, so that's a possibility. Furthermore, though, when we look at the RSI on the 4 hour, we just dipped below 50. And here's the thing about 50 on the RSI on the 4 hour. If the price is kind of just wavering right in this range, it's not really a reliable source. In other words, 50 on the RSI doesn't really matter at this point. It's not like we lost a key level support, because once again, we are still ascending in this trend here where we're making higher lows. Okay. While it's not a fantastic situation where the higher lows are not, like very strong, if you will, it is positive here in the sense that we keep hitting this type of wedge pattern. Okay, so the wedge essentially will inevitably break to the upside. In most cases, that's what it does. Especially with the price consolidating here at the support level, it leads me to believe that we have more potential for upside than down. Again, just based on that sentiment alone. Because again, you gotta expect the trend line is going to continue to hold until it doesn't. All right, and at this point, if we lose this trend line, we lose higher lows, and that would essentially be a disadvantageous situation, right? But for now, we're on the right side of the tracks for the moment, even though it's getting kind of close, right? Taking a look at the MACD too, we can see a potential MACD divergence. This doesn't really necessarily mean that we're going to diverge, it just means it's on the horizon. So if the price action were to break down below 28,000, obviously it's going to continue to dump. There's just no other way around it. So just be prepared and mindful of that. Again, it's okay to be optimistic, but it's another thing to be naive, right? And if you're kind of listening to everyone on the internet saying that it's going to go to $1 or even just say 1 cent, the probability of that is astronomical. It's very difficult to get to that point, no matter how much Luna Classic is burned. Okay, again, supply and demand, the whole thing. You got to learn it. It's all good if you don't know it. Bottom line, though, is there's a lot to it, and no one truly knows where it's going to go. Okay, I just think it's really ridiculous to think it's going to go stupidly high like that. Okay, again, I would love for everyone to get rich off this. Don't get me wrong, that would be fantastic. But a lot of folks are getting wrecked off it too, based on the fact that they added to their position at really high points, and they're just holding on for dear life right now. All right, it sucks to see that happen. So that's why I like to say these things. All right, anyway, so that's kind of where we're at there on the 4 hour. I would say slightly more positive than negative, right? Until we break below this descending trend, the ascending trend, we have to assume that it's going to hold. Okay, so we do have that positive thing going for us there. Taking a look at the 1 hour. Let's see here on TD Sequential. In fact, actually, let's just jump right back to the 4 hour for TD Sequential. I want to point something out here because it did come down to a 6 previously. Then we came up to a 9, got a reset, came down to another 9. Came up to a 5, now we're down to a 4. So hypothetically, again, I think this probability is pretty low, but we could very well see another 20 hours of downside. That's a possibility, okay? Now, keep in mind, with it coming down to a 9 and up to a 9 previously, this kind of gives us that higher low pattern, essentially. It's more positive than negative in that sense because the fact that we got capped out at 20 hours rather, of continuation of the upside. And if we see that happen here to the downside, we want to be concerned, but for right now, we're still in good shape. So again, that's mostly positive, but still, keep in mind there is potential for another 20 hours of downside. Again, the greed is a very real thing, and we got to expect greed to continue to happen, and a lot of times large investors will continue to sell off to make their money, add to a lower position, and the rest of us just kind of get stuck, right? Again, it's unfortunately a thing in the industry, and it's something you got to be aware of. Okay, so to summarize here, let's go ahead and take a look at the cloud. And a lot of times when you're range bound like this, the cloud gives you false positives. So I'm not super sold on where we're at right now, but generally speaking, just to kind of be completely transparent with you, it is letting us know that a short position should be more viable than a long position right now, because we're below the cloud, again, tentatively below the cloud. We don't have confirmation yet, but we do have confirmation with these other indicators. In other words, lagging span is free and clear of price action. It tells us that whatever position you have in that direction should stay open, and the conversion lines below the baseline essentially telling us the moving averages have shifted bearishly and diverged, so to speak, so the price action should continue lower. That's hypothetically what it's telling us right now, okay? So if that is the case, and this is telling us that the price is going to continue lower, and we have TD Sequential telling us we're only halfway through the cycle of a potential 36 hours continuation in either direction, that leads me to believe we could see more downside. But once again, we've got this trend line that we need to kind of expect to hold, and if it does, then we should be in good shape. All right, so again, we kind of got a lot of things relying on this trend line and that support level. We lose either of those two things, and it might be a potential for a drop in price. Because you got to recognize here, big picture, there is not a lot of volume in this range, right? So if we take a look at the price section right now, we've got a strong volume support in this level, right? But if you compare that with down here and see how much of a gap there is that gap going to get filled? That's the question you got to ask yourself. We lose this support. Are we going to see that get filled and see somewhere in the range of 15,000 or possibly 16,200, which was the previous resistance, right? Is that something that's going to happen? So just keep in mind, there's a lot of potential scenarios here, but for the most part, you want to protect your investment and not bank on one potential fundamental situation, such as a burn, to expect the price action to just shoot up. Please don't put all of your money into this coin. I just ask you nicely to be smart about things, because you never truly know. It goes up, great, you got some skin in the game. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it goes down and it never comes back up, that could be a problem, right? Again, the probability is fairly low, but once again, Terra or Luna in the past has never truly done very well for the people. So I hope you understand, even though there's no direct correlation between this and Terra Luna 1.0, it's still a good reminder of how the market behaves, right? Anyways, that's all we got here. Sorry for the ramble. I hope you learned something here today. Obviously, if you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site. Link in the description below. Look forward to working with you. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks so much for your time.